On this episode of the John 1911 podcast, Swedish BARs, the F-15 shootdowns, the Chi-Coms run for cover, and will the U.S. do combat drops in Iran? Okay, good afternoon, everybody. This is Mongo and Marky, and this is episode 397 of the John 1911 podcast. Today is Saturday, March the 7th at 1:06 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. As usual, I have to timestamp stuff because things happen so quickly that by the time I get this published, for all we know, the nuclear war will have started and everybody complained that, I'm behind the times. So, how you been, stranger?
Not too bad. It's been nice weather here, and we're transitioning from winter into summer.
We are doing the same. It was 77 degrees here at the range yesterday. And so, which was a first, I think, for the year. And so I actually went out and did a little bit more shed hunting. I hate to admit how much I really enjoyed finding deer antlers in the back of the property. And I'm like, I don't know if I can find any more. So I went out looking. So it's like, I can get big old antlers and don't even have to shoot anything or field dress anything or tag it and report it. I'm like, I just go back there and pick them up. I should go back there and look at least one more time. So I did what I could.
Did you find any more?
No, it was getting dark by the time I really got into it. I've got a few more areas to check. I've discovered that, I guess, again, a week ago, I did not know this, but apparently you have a higher chance of finding deer sheds if you know where the deer lay. And it's strictly it's mathematics. It's, where they spend the most time, they're more, you're more likely to find where they drop the antlers. They could drop when they're walking, but if they spend 4, 5, 6 hours resting or whatever a deer spends, they might drop there. So I know where a lot of the bedding places are because I intentionally leave stuff not cut, but it's not too scraggly, so they'll lay up in it. You see it all the time. So there's a few more places I want to check. Actually, the set that I found, I mounted them yesterday. I bought this thing and you could kind of screw them in with a drill and then, mount them on the wall. And it looks pretty good. I'll probably put it up on the website. So, but yeah, this whole hunting thing I'm not really an experienced hunter or outdoorsman. So, I spent a lot of time in the woods as a kid, but I just, I've shot, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 deer total in my life. I've shot one big ass pig and I shot a groundhog here at 90 some yards with a handgun that no one on the internet believed, but I had witnesses. I had a video crew here, but they didn't have the camera running because we were going up and down from targets. And so, yeah. So anyway, enough about that. So we're going to talk about this war, or you want to talk about this shoot down, or do you want to talk about
let's go
gun stuff, or
you know how we go random once we start talking. So
we got all kinds of stuff. So, okay, you had sent me a message last night.
Yeah, the video from I can't remember his name now.
Mr. Guns and Gear? No. You sent me a message. Hold on, let me read it for you. Well, you sent something about Iwa, but then you sent XF. You said,
the F-15 pilot. Yeah.
I follow, thinks the third shoot down plane knew something was wrong and tried to turn. Interesting theory.
Yeah, that's Scott Perdue. I just remembered his name. He's a F-15 pilot. And he was looking at the video and stuff, and the first 2 downings were the missiles. He said they were obviously all AIM-9 Sidewinders, and because where they hit at the rear, of course, chasing up the tailpipe of the jet engine, and so it took both the rudders off when it went. And he said they immediately went in a flat spin because the plane will not fly without rudders because it just doesn't have the directional stability. But he said the third one, according to the video or the look, it was hit around the center. And he said that tells him that they probably reacted as something was going on and they started pulling a turn. So the missile, was tracking from behind, but when they pulled a turn, that missile hit midship. And
are all three of these shootdowns on video?
The actual missiles coming in, no. But the end results, there was usually somebody recording as it was going, once it had already been hit. One of the second plane, I think, was recorded as it got hit, but you can't see the missile because of the quality signal. Okay. But he was saying that, that he thought that, first of all, he thinks something suspicious because he does not believe that if you're looking at these drones were supposed to be coming in or would be coming in at less than 200 knots, most likely around 150 to 180, something like that. Yeah. Don't get me on numbers, but it was close to that. And he said these guys were coming in back and they would be in a pattern to, start heading in to lose their energy to get ready for landing and everything.
Yeah, the F-15s are coming into a base, we think.
Right. So they'd be at 350 knots. So he said there's no way you could mistake those two different velocity differences. And because he gave the whole sequence that you would go through before you launched your missile on looking at it and then selecting it and then slaving the missile to track and everything. He talked about that sequence that he went through, and he said there's no way you would do that 3 times in a row and see the difference of velocity. And he said also, because they were so slow at 350, when the crew started pulling a turn, they just didn't have the energy to try to outturn an AIM-9. He said you can't outturn an AIM-9 at that low velocity.
So these planes were literally possibly in the glide slope to land?
They were basically coming down, I guess. They were coming back and they were, lowering their speed to get in the pattern and everything, okay. I guess.
So they were in a pattern on final. Okay. So now this is going to be a good opportunity to reiterate a lesson that will come up later. When everybody knows everything, everybody's going to suddenly be really smart. And they're going to be like, well, obviously this and obviously that and obviously this and obviously that. And like on 9/11, first reports are almost always wrong. So, for example, I had heard a day or two ago that Kuwaiti air traffic or AWACS or something so this missile, the drone attack was happening. The Americans had been hit and killed on the base. And my understanding was this F-18 was directed in by airborne warning. Like, there's something over here, go get it. And so this guy, he didn't just happen upon these planes. He may have been told that they were Iranian. And from the back, you could easily see that, an F-15 doesn't look that dissimilar from a MiG-29. And the Iranians have MiG-29s.
Right.
So, I don't know. But
I don't know either, but I think his big issue was the third crew did make a turn. According to him, did make the turn. Probably trying to dodge. He said, first of all, he addressed that it's not like the movies. You don't get any warning that a missile's coming in or anything unless you saw the damn thing launch and coming at you you're not going to know it until it hits you.
Especially a heat seeker, right? A heat seeker is not, right. Yeah, a heat seeker is not going to let you know that it's there.
Yeah, their threat detection stuff will show that you've been locked up, and he said that happens all the time. You get locked up by, there's so many radars and everything around there that'll sweep you, and if you get locked up all the time by mistake. But he went on to say, that I'm guessing that the first two got hit and their emergency beacons or whatever went off when they ejected. And the third crew probably heard it on guard frequency or something. And at that point they knew something was up and they were just too slow to make a turn out of the situation. But
do we know how close these planes were to each other?
The first two planes were the same wing group. And the third one, he thinks was a different wing group. And it was actually the wing group he used to fly for. One of them
was. Well, did he specify? Because I've also heard a rumor from some fighter pilots. Well, it wasn't a rumor. They were surmising that typically the American F-15s are based in Jordan. And were these planes diverted to Kuwait for some reason, fuel or mechanical? Or were they in the process of flying into Kuwait to be more forward deployed, and maybe people weren't talking to each other? Like maybe they weren't all expecting these planes to show up. Also, I will say this, last night I saw a video, and again, you can't really tell because with AI anymore, you have to trust the sources as opposed to, that's what's going to happen. You're going to have to basically, as we go forward in life, you're going to have to start, websites and businesses are going to have to start being very discriminating as to what they post, because they're going to build reputations. So we don't post something unless we can confirm it. Well, Facebook isn't a place to do that. Mr. Guns and Gear had posted a video of one of these shoot downs, and you can't really see too much. You see an F-15 go into a flat spin. You do see that, and you see the shoots. But if what I can determine is the distance that the F-18 launched the missile, you can see it in the same video frame. This one particular shot, it's very close.
Right. Yeah.
This one. If this video is real, I mean, it is stupid close. So, even then, you're kind of like the whole MiG-29 thing is
Well, the paint job is fairly distinctive on the Iranian MiG-29s versus our F-15Es. So.
Yeah, but the thing is, your heart. It's not to go back to hunting, but buck fever. Oh my God, this is a real life. This is happening. And you're told, you are told by. Go, here's your targets, go intercept these things, go get them. It's, we don't know what these are. And you go out there and it's you start boom, boom, just start shooting at something. I mean, there's definitely a human error built into some of this stuff. So I haven't heard anything as to whether they think this was some kind of Allahu Akbar, inside, whatever thing. But I think it'd be fair to assume that if the Kuwaitis honestly feel that this person did this on purpose, that they will freaking kill him.
Oh, yeah. And hopefully they buy 3 new F-15Es too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, yeah.
But, I agree. How can you make a judgment now? There's just way too much that we don't know. Plus, I'm not a F-15 or F-18 pilot or a pilot at all. So I'm not going to sit there and say definitive one way or another and let the facts come out.
I mean, this, again, it sounds stupid, and this is very early when I was much younger. I remember one time jumping out of an airplane under canopy and looking down and not being able to see the drop zone. I wasn't mentally picking it up. And I was let out of the airplane over the drop zone. And I'm like, I don't see this fucking drop zone. And I ended up landing in a golf course because I got to be to a point because I just, first time out of a plane, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, I got to find a clearing. I can't hit power lines or trees. So I literally landed in a golf course. I was like, I see the golf course. I'm landed at the golf course. Fuck you, bitches. That's where I'm going. And so, and somebody on the ground, on the internet, looking at video, looking up at me, looking at the drop zone, looking at the golf course, but there is no way that Marky missed, the drop zone and landed, he must have Allahu Akbar'd over to the golf course. And it's like, I am telling you, dude, I did not see the drop zone. I was looking and looking and looking, like, and I just ran out of time, and I'm like, I see that golf course, so I'm landing on that par 5 over there, whatever that was. So, it is what it is, but, it's a miracle that none of those pilots were killed, especially the one that turned.
Right, yeah. I guess one of them did have some damage to one of his hands, so I'm not sure how extensive.
Well, getting ejected out of a fighter aircraft can be a career ender.
Oh yeah, I'm sure all of them are going to be suffering from some form of back issues after that.
Oh God, I think what was it? I've heard it's not uncommon for people who eject from a Martin Baker ejection seat end up an inch shorter than they were when they started. Just think about that. All the cascading effects of that. Yeah, it is.
I think the later generations have been better, but yeah, still, it's. They're made to get you the hell out of Dodge, so they do it quick.
You can't defy physics. You have a choice. You can either get out quick, but they can't stop the G-force. I mean, maybe they could spread it out over a longer period, like a few milliseconds. Maybe stage the rockets, but you also don't want to get out of the jet too slow or you hit the jet.
Exactly.
Which used to be a problem too. People don't understand. I think Hollywood has not really prepared people for the reality. They're just like, oh yeah, just punch out. They see in cartoons and G.I. Joe cartoons, no one ever dies. Every time a plane gets hit, like the person parachutes out, and and all these Hollywood movies. But I mean, ejecting out of an airplane, especially a high speed aircraft, can cripple the shit out of you. I remember there was a guy, as a matter of fact, it might have been an F-15. This was some years ago. He ejected at, I'm not going to say it was Mach 1 because he wasn't that low to the ground, but he was doing 700 miles an hour. But he wasn't at ground level, so I don't think he was quite Mach 1. He might have been at 10,000 feet, whatever it was. But he was going through the air, and the wind stream folded one of his knees sideways.
No.
Something happened where his leg wasn't quite strapped in, or there, or something. But it ended up his knee bent a way that it wasn't supposed to bend. And I think eventually he resumed flight status, but between the back injuries and the knee injury, I mean, he probably ended up 80% disabled at the VA at some point later in life, just from that ejection seat. And this was during peacetime.
Yeah, I know. On some of the older seats, they used to actually have straps that went to their legs that had a pyrotechnic charge that would fire and pull your legs up against the seat. So when you exited the aircraft, your legs didn't get cut off on part of the instrument panel or something.
Yeah, I think that part of the ejection sequence is because if you were to be leaning forward and eject, it would, it could.
Oh, it folds you in half.
Yeah, it could fold you. I think some of these seats now that within a millisecond, it literally pulls you back into the seat. You'll see dudes sit up in the movies and then pull the ejection. But I think the straps, the way they work now, all of a sudden the seat just pulls you back in and, straps you back in and then, throws you out. So, do you think is it the air crew? I always get the name wrong. Air crew survival weapon,
Oh,
But
yeah.
have you seen any videos or images of any of these pilots if they were able to get to their handy dandy, disassembled ARs and put them together?
They showed some interaction on the ground, and unfortunately, I didn't pay that close attention to it at the time. But of course, the female that ejected, the female pilot, they were real nice to her when she landed. I mean, what Arab state's going to allow a female to fly a plane, right?
Yeah.
But
Actually,
the male guys were a different story.
Yeah, I saw one where a male guy said, like, stay back, I'm an American, and the person had a pipe. And then I saw the one with the girl where the guy's like, thank you for helping us. But somebody from Kuwait online claiming, again, you don't know, but it's a podcast, so I can, our reputation isn't online, we're just talking. Somebody from Kuwait said that the male pilot landed in the Kuwaiti equivalent of the ghetto, where the female pilot landed in a really good neighborhood. So that may have been more of a factor in what happened. And it's like, how many people in a good neighborhood are going to happen to have a piece of pipe laying around?
That's true.
Yeah. I was like, I never thought about that. But, every town's got its, got the area where they have the nice lawns, but the best street food is in the other part of town. So, it's like, I don't know. I thought that was interesting data point. So,
did you see that video of the embassy with the Marines defending it? I think Mr. Gunsinger posted it on his Instagram.
I saw a screen grab of somebody on the ground shooting a pistol, I guess, towards the embassy complex, like one of the locals. And so, yeah, I heard the Marines open fire.
Yeah, there was a whole bunch of, I don't know, can you call them indigenous people, let's say, pressed up against the embassy gate area. And the Marines opened up with apparently shotguns. And that made clearing the area pretty quick. Oh, it was just shotguns? They didn't use like 240s and M27s? No, so, apparently it was just shotguns, according to the commentary, at least.
So this episode of the John 1911 podcast is brought to you by Mossberg, or this episode of the John 1911 podcast is brought to you by Benelli. It'll be interesting to see which shotgun they use. So it's either Mossberg or Benelli. So, and you're such a, you're a, fairly person of good repute and upstanding member of society, and you're too nice and polite to say what I'm going to say. But those people that were outside the U.S. Embassy, I think it was was it in Karachi? Yeah, it was in Karachi. It wasn't in the capital. Yeah, I didn't want to open my mouth and sit there and make myself even dumber by saying the wrong embassy. I believe it was I read it was a constant in Karachi, but that was days ago, and I could be misinformed. I haven't confirmed it. But on the record, the official position of John 1911 is fuck them bitches. I don't give a fuck. You homos show up at an American embassy after what we've been through since 1979, fuck you, eat it. Do not care. Do not care. Gun you all down. Do not give a fuck. You know who I blame? Pakistani police. Indigenous or host country is supposed to provide street security, outside security. And to their credit, they apparently sent reinforcements. But,
well, let me ask you this. Maybe at the border of the embassy, that obviously embassy property is considered property or U.S. property, right? Or
it is.
So anything inside there is under, quote, U.S. law, I guess. So, but if you're firing across the fence line, what exactly does that make that?
A scene from a movie, A Few Good Men. Jack Nicholson comes out and goes, "You want me on that wall? You need me on that wall." That I mean that I know that the prop. So I have to remember how this works. I'm trying to remember.
I mean, obviously, a gunshot into the compound from outside, that you got some retaliation there or whatever. You say you're defending yourself. But the simple fact is, until they breach that fence, can you technically fire if they hadn't fired first?
Well, it's not that simple, because what you will find is basically, yeah, they're not allowed to shoot across the line. Like, I will use the term the line. But you have to also realize how it works is it's not a building with a fence, it's a compound. And so there's, especially in the Middle East, we're going to have gates with setbacks and barricades, and you're going to have, security buildings, and then you're going to have administrative buildings, and these people, I'm pretty certain, like, there's a video that I saw of a guy who's shooting a handgun, one hand, I think it was with his right hand, like around a corner towards, the Marines. And I'm pretty certain he's on the embassy property, because ever since, this really became an issue, Khobar Towers, this became an issue. There was a bombing in, obviously Kenya and Tanzania, the bombings at the embassies there, this became an issue. And then there was a bombing in Iraq where the UN mission, where they set off a bomb that was it 800 yards away? We have very large setbacks now on these embassies, to where it's not like, here's the building, here's the fence, here's the whatever, because you can't let a vehicle-borne IED get close enough to be able to damage the building, like with a, 5,000-pound, fuel explosive in the back of a panel truck. Like, it's fairly large. I'm
guessing,
but I don't. Yeah,
I'm thinking more of the European situation where you can basically have a building in the middle of a city, and that's the embassy.
Yeah, and we have actually been slowly, especially in high-risk areas, have been moving our embassies to areas outside of these urban, where there's compacted urban zones. It's difficult because, like, we have this embassy in London. Did we move our embassy in London? I think we did, but the embassy building we have in London is gorgeous. I think is it in Knightsbridge or Kensington? It's gorgeous. Like, it's like very valuable piece of property. But, the setback is just impossible because it's from like an 1800s building or something.
Well, it sounds like in the Middle East, maybe we should be employing the parking lot line painters to paint a zone that's striped that says "you will be shot."
Oh yeah, they do. And I'm trying to remember exactly. So DSS, and I have been a long time since I've dealt with a DSS agent. If I remember the diplomatic security service, they're ultimately the like the senior, and I could be wrong. I'm sure there's like Marine Corps security force is going to disagree, but basically the DSS is probably outranks the we'll call it the Marine security, force, but the DSS, they're responsible for all the staff in the building, but it's the Marine Corps that, if I recall correctly, it's kind of like an area of responsibility. They own the building. Like, they protect the facility. Like, it's theirs. So, and we have a regular that listens and comments, who actually was at the embassy evacuation in Vietnam in 1975. And I'm sure he'll swing in and kind of straighten me out on this. But I believe it's, as far as the physical security of the building, that belongs to the Marine Corps. Like they own it. They own the property. I mean, they own it. They own it administratively. They don't own it as, they don't they own it administratively as far as defense. Like, I don't even think they have to ask permission to shoot. I mean, they may actually ask permission. They may defer in a way to, like, say, the charge the affairs at the consulate, because it wasn't the ambassador. But I mean, considering all the things that have happened with the Marines and embassies, I mean, hell, the embassy, the 82 in Beirut, holy shit, right. Or 83, 82. I mean, well,
I'm sure the SOP probably varies according to what part of the world the embassy's in.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So, I mean, like I sometimes deal with the embassy in Rome, and it is like, it's in a decent part of town, the U.S. Embassy in Rome, and they typically
Is that when you go back get your cardinal credentials renewed?
Yes, yeah. I'm the cardinal of Ohio. Sacrilegious, I should say that. But whenever I'm over there, I'm dealing with pretty aggressive Italian paratroopers. And sometimes they're carrying that AR-160 rifle, and every once in a while, I've got some pictures of them. I've caught them with it's been a little while, but I've caught them with the AR-70, AR-7090. But the last few times I've seen them, they've had the AR-160? Is that what it's called? That Italian tuna gun?
You'd get me lying on Italian guns.
Yeah. I need to get one. Beretta AR, is it the AR-160?
The 790 was the last one I knew about, and I hadn't paid attention since.
Yeah, we have an AR-70, and I remember I have actually gotten cross. And the reason I kind of really know this is, whenever I'm around the Italian security forces, I surreptitiously, if they've got different or cool guns, I take pictures. And about 50% of the time I get caught, and you get around indigenous security, Italian paratroopers outside the U.S. Embassy in Rome, and you're taking a photograph of them, they get pissed off. You're not allowed to take pictures. They tell you no pictures. They get pissed off. And then when they find you're American, even then, like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, but they're like, no. No, but I usually catch them with some cool guns, so, because Italian guns are cool. Yeah, so I don't know. It's interesting. The news is changing so quickly and things are happening so rapidly. It's like ancient history. Speaking of ancient history, this was a blurb in the news that literally didn't even get picked up. Did you hear that we have special forces engaged in combat operations? Oh, I'm sorry. Advisory roles to deal with terrorist organizations in Ecuador?
No.
Yeah, that was like 5 days ago or 6 days ago, almost the same time that we're blasting Iran. We're cleaning people out around the world, and it's like nobody's talking about it. It's like it's not even getting coverage. So it was interesting too. There was a story because everyone's talking about Iran. I guess one of the British reporters went to Venezuela, and one thing they were like, it's so different now since the last time I was here. We noticed that there are protesters in the street now asking to release political prisoners and asking this. And you talk to the locals, and the locals have said, quote, we feel like we've had a weight lifted off our shoulders since Maduro was snatched. But then one thing they made a comment, the reporter said, we come through the airport in Venezuela, or if I was AOC, Venezuela. And
I don't think you had the tits for her.
The signs The signs in the airport are in Spanish, Arabic, Chinese, and Russian.
Hmm.
The signs in the airport. And it's like, what the hell is going on around here?
Well, remember, only a couple of years ago, it was Russian, I forgot the supersonic bomber name.
The Tu-160.
Yeah, they had
Blackjack,
a couple of them land. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they had them land down there.
Yeah, oh yeah. Apparently, we also just pushed. The Chinese shipping the port companies out of Panama. The Panamanian government has officially cut them out and fired them. Like they can't run the 2 ports on the end of each end of the Panama Canal. That happened, I think, officially last week.
Yeah.
I mean,
did you see the meme of the North Korean dictator, little rocket man, saying on a phone line with Trump saying, "Are we all right? Are we still all right?"
I got that from you.
Did I send that to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Mongo is Mongo's text game is way more I would say way less politically correct than his podcast game. So if you get the privilege of getting a text message from Mongo, yeah, you might be in for a treat, because it actually said it said Donald, or it did that crazy Korean accent. Donald, we okay? Something, whatever the meme said. Yeah, it was pretty good. So
yeah,
let's see what else is there.
Team America accent, I call it. Yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of which, around the world, so there was a report too. It's not getting reported in the Western media at all, but the Chinese embassy in Tehran has been having a burn party.
No.
There's video of them. They've opened up these grills that they have, we have a big grill on the roof so they can have cookouts, and they're putting documents in. They're burning everything in that embassy because it's all coming out that all the sanctions busting that China has done in Iran, that's part of what Trump is. That's why he's going after him.
Well, what really pissed me off that I heard about was apparently BBC supposedly sent a translated copy of the vice president's speech saying that we were going to kill all Iranian citizens.
What? We're going to kill all Iranian citizens? What, in the U.S.?
No, in Iran. So they were basically said, they made it sound like the vice president called for the killing of all Iranian citizens. And they were basically, they didn't misquote them. They mistranslated them on purpose, accordingly. So, that irked me quite a bit.
Well, the BBC is being sued because they did the same thing with Trump.
Right, yeah.
Basically, they edited a video claiming that Trump said, "Let's go tear up the Capitol building on January 6th." And, I mean, not in so many words, but they did this bad edit, and he never said anything close to that. And he's suing him for a couple $1 billion. I think, is it $2 billion or something? Okay. You have not been privy to. Would you want to join the text group chat that Danny Kraken and I have?
Sure.
Because I haven't been well. I mean, I'm really better now. I've got a big test on Monday, but I think they've kind of got it all under control and got everything out of me. But I have been a toxic motherfucker in the group chat because I am so pissed off at the United Kingdom and Spain over their behavior on a lot of this stuff concerning Iran, and then Diego Garcia and the Chagos Islands, I mean, I think there's a good chance. There's a good argument to be. I need to preface this before I start saying anything, because people are just going to think I'm like Tucker Carlson or I'm like some whatever anti-whatever person. I am very pro-NATO. I've always have been. I'm not a crazy person. I've never been anti-European. I've never been anti-United Kingdom, or I've never been somebody who is against international institutions. I always thought the idea of like leaving the UN was kind of, Boulder Dash stuff. And I'm to the point now that we need to shut the UN down. And I think it's fair to say, let's just hypothetically assume that the war in Ukraine comes to an end, and let's just say that it ends badly for the Russians somehow, and Russia is like either Putin's dead or he's been overthrown, and we don't expect Russia to come into the family of nations. They're going to be Russians, insecure assholes. But, they're really set back. I think the behavior of a lot of the European countries at this point justifies shutting NATO down. I mean, at the very least, I think it is certainly worth considering kicking Spain out of NATO and possibly kicking United Kingdom out of NATO. And people are going to be like, you can't do that, I'm crazy, whatever. Well, I'm just going to make a point. Okay, so make this point. So, NATO and the European Union and United Kingdom in particular, and Germany, they get away with not investing in their security, not meeting the 2% threshold that required of all NATO members. Mind you, Trump wants to take it up to 5%. Most of these countries don't even hit 2%, including the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom hits 2% because they fudge the numbers. And the reason all these countries do this is so they can spend more money on their social welfare programs. This is where it comes from, Donald Trump saying they're ripping us off, because they are. They have been for a while. Why can't NATO defend itself? Okay? They expect us, because they got Uncle Sugar and United States to come in and, save the day, right?
Yeah, they expect us, the cavalry, to show up.
Yeah, and that, okay, and you know what? And look, I understand from being the leader of a foreign country and working out your budgets and local politics and your welfare programs and priorities, butter over gun. Like I get all of that. I absolutely do. They expect us to do all this. We've been doing it. It's all fine. However, Europe wants us to do all this to defend them, but they turn a blind eye when they don't want to recognize that we have commitments not only to defend Europe, but to defend other people. We have commitments to defend South Korea. We have commitments to defend Japan. We have commitments to defend Taiwan. We have commitments to defend some of these other small nations all throughout the Pacific. We have commitments to defend Australia. We have commitments to defend Israel, and everyone gets all retarded about Israel. Okay, fine. Okay. We have commitments to defend Jordan. We have commitments to defend Saudi Arabia. We have commitments to defend Kuwait. We have commitments to defend Iraq. I got news for you. We absolutely do.
And Greenland. Okay? Don't forget Greenland.
Well, Greenland, you can make an argument it's part of NATO. Okay. And so we have all these other things that we have to do. And whenever we have to do other things, I don't expect the Europeans to get involved. but don't step on my dick. Like the whole Chagos Islands, Diego Garcia thing that's going on with the United Kingdom. I'm so first, Keir Starmer. I said this in the group chat. Keir Starmer, you can't use our bases, to do whatever.
Oh, you said it last podcast, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you can't. And I'm like, okay, all right. My position at this point is that the United Kingdom is not our friend. The United Kingdom is not a trusted partner. We don't have a, quote, special relationship with the United Kingdom. I'm going to be honest with you. I think we have a better relationship with Japan. Japan is a better partner by far than the United Kingdom is. And I think we should take Diego Garcia by force. I think the nearest Marine unit that's either in Westpac or if it's anywhere in the Middle East should go down there to Diego Garcia, and all of a sudden one day everybody down there that's British wakes up and they're under arrest, and we invite them to get on their planes and their ships and to fly away. We're taking over Diego Garcia, and if they choose to not do that and they want to fight, good luck, because we're going to kill your ass. And then we're going to take all the Chagos Islands, and then we're going to invite the Chagoans, who are somehow down in Mauritania because the Brits moved them. The Chagoans don't want China taking over all that shit. We can bring the Chagoans back. We can make them a U.S. territory. We could even technically give them a bunch of money, make that a U.S. territory. They would be happy. We would be happy. Keep the fucking Chinese out. And the reason we have to do that is because, quote, this special relationship that we have with the United Kingdom, y'all bunch of fucking retards. You are assholes, and you take us for granted, and you talk shit about us behind our backs. And I'm literally to the point now, what's going on with Spain, what's going on with the United Kingdom, what's going on with Germany's military being shipped. But at least Germany, we basically run all through Germany. And we don't keep hardly any troops in Germany anymore compared to what we used to. We used to keep 2 army groups alone in Germany, But, I mean, it's like we should, at this point, break up fucking NATO, and then we negotiate directly with individual countries in Europe defense treaties. We can work out a deal with Italy. We can work out a deal with Finland. We can probably work out a deal. Poland. Oh my God, Poland is fantastic.
Yeah, the Czech. Yep.
Yeah.
Czech Republic. Yeah.
I mean, maybe Hungary's not in NATO. To be honest with you, NATO. I mean, Hungary. Honestly, when people kind of bitch about Viktor Orban, Hungary they track a little bit more towards Russia. I got news. Serbia is the same way. Serbia is very pro-Russian. We could work out deals and make deals with our friends, and they work out deals with us, and we have individual relationships. Because once again, we're at a situation where these institutions run by Euroweenies don't work. They don't work for America. They're just ripping us off. I mean, I fit to be fucking tied over the Chagos Islands and Diego Garcia, and I think Trump should take that sumbitch. And honestly,
well, we're gonna need it if Taiwan goes.
Oh yeah, we absolutely. That's the whole point. They're gonna allow the Chinese to put a base right next to Diego Garcia. That was the whole point of what I was saying. Europe wants us to do all of this for them, and they don't even meet all their commitments, and we turn a blind eye. But somehow, when we have to deal with helping Israel, sorry everybody, or Saudi Arabia, or Jordan, or Taiwan, or dealing with China, they want to fuck us. And I'm literally, fuck you. I am so sick of the goddamn Brits. And if people are in the United Kingdom listen to this, and I know some of you are, and this pisses you off, you know what? You need to take your goddamn country back and quit electing these fucking dirty commies like Keir Starmer, because he's fucking you. He's fucking your whole country, and we're not taking it anymore. And I tell you what, I hope Donald Trump. What's the current status of the embargo, of the trade embargo with Spain? Is that back on or not back on because of Trump? What's the latest? You know?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Well, because you can't do, you can't do.
What do we get from Spain?
Well, we have in Rota we run naval stuff out of Spain because it kind of sits down there.
Yeah, but I'm sorry. What trade items do we get from Spain?
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing too. It's like, the Spanish, their current government that was elected, they're literally communists. The actual people that run that country. I mean, they're so left. They're basically communists, and that's why they're doing this bullshit. And I'm all for a complete embargo.
I wonder how many generations before some of these major European countries over there have become Islamic and vote completely Islamic.
I mean, I think Spain won't become Islamic. I think they know better because of what they went through. The United Kingdom is in trouble. Part of the reason why Keir Starmer is Mr. Wishy-washy on these on allowing air tanker refuelers and bombers, which I guess now they're going to let bombers defensively do whatever, how to lead from the front there, UK, with your less than 2% fucking military. The reason he's doing this is because he needs all the Muslim votes from the urban centers to maintain his power. And it's like, whoa. I mean, look, and I know I'm really pissing off a lot of the Brits, but look, if you're going to do this to us over Diego Garcia and then pull the shit over Mendenhall and whatever the other base is, we don't need you. We can just take Greenland and we can use that to position off the North Atlantic and the deal with Russia. And good luck, United Kingdom, keeping Gibraltar. Good luck keeping the Falkland Islands. Part of no one talks about this, but there's this little sliver of land right at the entrance to the Mediterranean called Gibraltar that the Brits control. And the reason the Brits control it is because they were the major world sea power. And Spain hates that fucking thing being there. And they would love for it to go away. And the EU can make an argument for it to go away. But we always come in and we're like, hey, now, let's all just chill the fuck out. We're not doing this.
A Spanish armada of rowboats against the British armada of rowboats?
Yeah, but the thing is, it's like, number one, the UK isn't a great naval power. They're not a great military power at all. It's all bullshit. And if they're going to fuck us on Diego Garcia, then why do we keep protecting them when it comes to Gibraltar? They don't need fucking Gibraltar. We are more likely to need Gibraltar than they are. I mean, but fuck them. If all of a sudden, if this certain country in South America decides that the Falklands needs to be called the Malvinas, hey, good luck, with your aircraft carrier and no battle group to defend it.
If Ukraine hadn't kicked off, you know how much worse this whole shit would be with NATO right now? These guys have gotten into a panic when most of their forces, like in Germany, are so... none of them are, the readiness of those forces in Germany are so terrible. They couldn't even defend their own country if they had to.
Germany, we did an article on the website years ago. Germany is so fucking broken militarily that, it's embarrassing. I don't think they could even put a full brigade together. Their Air Force wasn't running. They have their ships are all broken down. It's just, they're not spending any money. And now things are so bad. Nobody really wants to talk about this, but this is one of the rumors that they have.
Well, that's, they're all thinking peace dividend.
Well, no, it's not even that. I haven't said what the rumor is. Let's say Germany decided that they were going to truly rearm and they were going to they were going to build up, say, I don't know, a fairly substantial ground army. Like whatever that number would be. Let's just say it's 400,000, like whatever, like a really meaty, like something substantial, especially if you're not expeditionary. You're just, you want to be able to defend parts of Europe. What percentage of that military would have to be either Muslim immigrants from the Middle East or their direct descendants, and they're radicalized? And so you'd have this almost significantly Muslim army in Germany. Nobody. That's one of the that's the part of the thing people say sotto voce. Like, I don't know about this one. This could not end well. It's like, okay,
they can't even handle. They cancel these Christmas celebrations to not offend the Muslims and all this other stuff. And what happens when you have to conscript them? And they're, instead of knives that you're worried about them having, now they've got guns.
Mm-hmm.
And, and they're not going to be nice, friendly Europeans like the rest of the Germans. They're going to be, we came from shooting everyone else, or shooting everyone nation to here, and we're still going to keep shooting.
Well, part of the argument why they let all these people in because of everyone that was displaced during the Syrian civil war. And it's like, well, that war's over.
Well, I think the Spanish lady basically admitted why they wanted them in, so they could keep their leftist politicians in power by getting them to keep voting them in.
All right. Well, yeah, that's what they do in the U.S. I hadn't heard that one about the Spanish, but I'm not surprised by it.
Oh, she flat out said it.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, I mean, that's fine, but I mean, you do you, bro. I mean, hey, babe, that works for you. That's fine. But it's like, nobody will tell the truth about anything. And, it's like, okay, we can't do the Christmas markets in Germany because they keep, running vehicles and running people over. And then they complain. Now the complaints are they don't want the church bells ringing because they don't like that. But it's okay to have, Allah Akbar speakers from a mosque.
Call to prayer, yeah.
Yeah, they call it a prayer, but you can't have the church bells. And it's like, all right. And it's at this point, like, there was a point, in a not too distant past when it's like we're all trying to get along. We don't want to be offensive. We don't want to be this. But at this point, everything is so out of control. It's just like, you know what? Shut the fuck up. Stop being a little bitch about everything. And, you can either assimilate and be a part of culture, don't ram your shit down our throat, or you can get the fuck out. And, just like, hey, look, nobody liked Timothy McVeigh going to blow up the fucking federal building. Anyone that thought that was justified is a fucking asshole that probably needs to be shot. Okay? But I'm allowed to go after and criticize Timothy McVeigh, crazy Christian nationalist, white supremacist, bullshit assholes. But I can't say shit about Muslims that want to run you over in public, want to, they stab you and rob you on the fucking street. They're raping all these girls, and now they're bitching about the church bells. But I can't say shit about that. I'm like, you know what? Fuck all you bitches. Everyone's being fucking faggots about everything. And I know I'm offensive, but I've just kind of hit the point in life that I'm not going to take it anymore.
Well, did you see?
By the way, for the record, for people that are new, then I'll let you talk. For the record, I am part fucking Arab, Christian, Lebanese, grandmother, Roman Catholic, Lebanese. So miss me with your bullshit. My father looks more like Muhammad Atta than fucking George Washington. So suck my dick. I'm done.
So that's where you got your belly dancing history from?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I was going to say, did you see that, in Germany, they arrested a guy for calling a politician an idiot? And that they're down to that level where they have made laws where you cannot say anything about a politician that's, quote, hate speech now.
That's what J.D. Vance was talking about. They do it in Germany. They do it in the United Kingdom.
Yeah, well,
they've been arrested.
Too, yeah.
what they arrest like 12,000 people so far for shit they posted on the internet, and it's not like they posted stuff on the internet like I'm going to make a bomb and kill somebody. It's like, what happened to my country? And they're like, oh, you're in jail. It's like, what? You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like,
I really felt for that World War II veteran that I don't know if you saw the video of them interviewing him on BBC, and he said it wasn't worth it. World War II wasn't worth it after what he's seen happened in England. He was an English World War II vet.
Yeah. And, you know,
I mean, he broke down crying there, and I understand why.
Yeah. I mean, didn't they take guns away from people in England? Was it 97 or 98?
Oh, well, they've been continuously doing it. It's just,
yeah, but like the real big
at the
one,
time.
Yeah, but the real big one, I think, was in 97, 98. And it didn't take too long until now. It's like you can be arrested for saying something on the street or get arrested for the police to show up at your house for a Facebook post. And again, not a Facebook post. Like, okay, let me just make this clear. I have not been the nicest person on this podcast. And I acknowledge that.
No, I'm the nicest.
Painfully aware. Yeah, I'm painfully aware of it. If we were in the United Kingdom, what I said on this podcast would get me arrested. They would come to my house, knock on my door, and put me in jail. How is it that we have a, quote, special relationship with the United Kingdom at this point? Like, Donald Trump used to sound crazy, but the more you look at the stuff, he points it out, and you start realizing, man, he's right. Like, you know, it's like I remember when what's his name? Who's the guy that does, you know, InfoWars guy? Who's the InfoWars guy?
Shit.
Whatever his name is. Because I'm not a fan of him. I don't follow him. I don't really know him. But I remember like he would occasionally come out and he predicted he predicted Osama bin Laden in a World Trade Center. I remember he came out and he talked about oh, they're selling baby parts. They're selling baby parts. And everyone's like, shut up. Turns out that was true.
Gay frog guy. God damn it.
Yeah, and then and then he was talking about this turning the frogs gay.
Yeah, that guy.
And then it came out that was true. And then you're starting like, holy shit, like, you know, maybe not everything he says is crazy, but then it seems like almost every couple of days Donald Trump's coming out with something. You're like, it's like every couple of days it's another, like, they're selling baby parts with Donald Trump, and you're like, this can't be. Like, holy shit, he's right. You know, it's whatever nonsense, whatever. Like, can we just have a real conversation? Okay, here's another one. The Shahed drone. I've been looking into this. You know, that little triangular drone that the Iranians make?
Right.
That's what they've been hitting everybody with. This drone, you know, they're supplying them to Russia, right? And then we've copied it now. We have the Lucas, which is, you know, whatever, which is better. And we've been using, we're making a ton of them, and we're using a ton of them, and, you know, they're pretty effective.
So we took $1,000 drone and turned it into a $100,000 drone.
Well, it turns out, no. I think our public position is, I think we're doing them for like $25,000-$35,000. No. But, you know, ours work and can do all kinds of things, and they can coordinate with each other and whatever, which is fine. And we can make a ton of these things. Like we're cranking them out. Before the war started, I remember seeing, you know, pictures of them, and well, it turns out that the engines for these drones, the original Shahed drone, is really a 50cc motorcycle engine. Comes from China. And, you know, the the Chinese have been supplying Iran with most of the parts to make these drones, up to the point now that the Chinese are just making the drones directly, in many cases, for the Iranians and for the Russians. And the Chinese are making these drones for about $850 all in. The shell, the engine, whatever, it's about $850. And apparently it's come out. This is why the Chinese are burning everything and, trying to, with their embassy, they weren't prepared for this. The Iranians were hell-bent on restarting their ballistic missile program. They had just taken a tanker delivery of this chemical that you can use for obviously liquid-fueled rocket fuel that it is already docked in Bandar Abbas, and it is enough for 800 missiles. In early March, the Chinese were supposed to sell Iran this hypersonic anti-ship missile. It was going to be there this week. And this is why Trump decided to move, because he's they're just rebuilding everything so we can't get in there after them. And we just bombed, there's a 747 aircraft that's been flying back and forth between Iran and China. We just bombed it, I think, last night. It's the only last of the 740. It's the only 747 aircraft in the world that technically can work as an air refueler, but also it can haul cargo. And it's been hauling weapons between Iran and China. And the Chinese have been caught. And I don't know what the end game is really for Trump and Iran, but the more I look at it, the more I'm starting to feel like Trump is probably going to put ground forces into Iran. I'm not saying he's going to occupy the country, but I feel like there's a couple places where we want to get into it and we want to destroy it, like maybe some of these mountains. And I feel like 18th Airborne Corps, 82nd Airborne, 101st, 75th Ranger Regiment, maybe 173rd out of Italy. I'm hearing some grumblings about that from Danny. It's very possible that we may end up doing a combat drop in a couple of these places just to go in and clean them out and destroy shit and then leave. I'm starting to feel like that's more and more and more likely.
I wonder,
which I think is going to cause a huge crisis politically.
My concern is, China's getting the squeeze right now on their oil imports because we've basically knocked Iran and Venezuela offline for them. So
90% of Iranian oil goes to China.
Right. And Venezuela was a large percentage too. So I'm wondering, what economic impact is that going to make in China and how mad are they going to be about it? What are they going to do?
Off. They're precarious. Well, China's in the middle of a slow motion civil war right now. Nobody's talking about this in the West, but Xi, the president, premier, whatever you call him, dictator for life, he took out Jiang Yusha. I can't say his fucking name. Jiang Yusha, basically the highest ranking general, who was an ally of Xi, and they think they killed him. He killed because Xi's paranoid, and nobody will tell Xi anything because they don't want to give him bad news because he'll kill them. So the military is really upset at Xi right now, and there's basically the only thing keeping Xi in power at this point, it appears, is the Ministry of Public Security, the MPS, not the MSS, the MPS, and the troops that are permanently stationed in Beijing, who basically are his personal, his personal guards. And there's a lot of drama between leaders of the military, the princelings, which are the direct descendants of Mao's buddies, during a revolution. And there's a lot of people not happy in China because there's a super high unemployment. China's hurting. As a matter of fact, just yesterday, China lowered their economic guidance for the year and they lie about their economic guidance. They lie about everything. They lowered their economic guidance to the lowest point since before they were members of the World Trade Organization, like 1991. Like their economy is in big trouble, and the last thing they can handle right now is a big oil price, and their oil prices are going sky high. And they've had scandals with gold and silver in China. Like, did you hear about the silver scandal that happened? Nobody in the West did, so you probably haven't.
I heard about that fake silver was being found.
60 tons of fake silver. And all these people had bought all this stuff. Turns out it's all fake, and it's caused a bunch of stuff to collapse. Because one of the issues they have is if you have money in China, you're not allowed to move your money out of the country. So you try to invest it and diversify as much as you can. So you put it in real estate. That's why they have all these empty buildings. And then people buy all these precious metals at these local little gold bug shops. And it turns out a lot of the stuff they're buying isn't real.
Oh, they're fake silver. They're putting fake silver in their own people's hands. So it's crazy. Oh, just the corruption is so out of control. I was talking about the fake silver here in the U.S. from them.
Well, okay, yes, because the fake, we did fake silver starting in what, 1976 or when did we stop putting all silver in our coins? So,
well, no,
it was in the 70s, right?
Apparently, there's silver bars here in the U.S. have been caught being faked as well, and they were all China is the source for them.
Really? When was this? When did you hear this?
This was recently, in the last couple of weeks.
Oh, but that's what it's related to then.
Yeah, so apparently it was a major supplier of pneumatics and bullion had been caught selling this stuff. And it was, once again, I guess it was plated with silver on whatever, I don't know what the substrate metal is that they've got. It's turned the silver market on its ear in that people are now worried what they're holding is fake crap.
Yeah, that's why people, a lot of times when you see gold bars and bullion, it'll have a serial number on it. Because
all these had serial numbers. Didn't make a difference.
but not from a reputable source that tested it.
This was a reputable source on top of this.
Well, not anymore.
True.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah.
But so if you look at silver, though, silver was, granted, it got expensive, like $50 an ounce or something like that, right? It was at a price, though, that I'm sure what they were doing is they weren't going to bother testing it because they're like, oh, it's not that much money. It's not like when you got a $4,000 an ounce gold or something that you're trying to figure out if it's real or not. That makes a difference. But the silver, you're looking at it, you're like, I'm not going to bother digging out the damn machine to find out if it's real or not.
Yeah, you drill it and you melt it and do all this stuff, and it takes time and costs money, and then you have some loss. And and people, a lot of times, especially if you're flipping it, you just flip it quick. You get it in, then you get it out to somebody else. So, yeah, I mean, that's a lot of that's related to. I did not know any of that silver had made it to the U.S., but I heard a bunch of the gold got artificially high in China, and now there's a bunch of people that bought gold that can't sell it because the price has calmed down. But gold will go back up, and then a bunch of fake silver came out, and it's wiped out all these little gold bug shops all through China. It's another area where people are really nervous in China about a lot of this. So it's it's the world is. It's, I mean, I don't know. I mean, if things get bad enough in China, you wonder if Xi would just try to go for Taiwan, just to try to change the argument.
Well,
but I don't know if he trusts his military to do it.
Well, see, traditionally, China has basically said every time they get in trouble, it's time to cut the population. Let's start a war, or let's hop into a war. And, they lower their numbers that way.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it's, I don't, they losing a bunch of people and going after Taiwan. It's not going to bother the leadership a bit.
Now, it would bother the military.
That might be true, yeah.
There were some military members that were removed. This was last year, or maybe 2024, end of 2024. They had been caught because basically they had decided that as soon as she launches an invasion of Taiwan, these military officers, generals and admirals, were just going to use that as a pretext to overthrow Xi at that point. And she found out about it and removed him. And that was the last round. Well, that's 2 or 3 purges ago. It's just. Have you heard about the population numbers in China?
I've heard they're going down.
They have been lying about their population numbers, and they're reporting because they're not incentivized. The locals are not incentivized to report lower numbers because they get money based off higher numbers. And there are some people that are, I would say, kind of credible. They start doing the math, and you're like, they think there's less than 1 billion people in China. There might be more people in India now than are in China. Because, China was well over 1 billion people. And now they're thinking it's very possible that China could be like at 900 million, or I've seen numbers that are crazy, but I don't know, 9 or 800 million people, which is a lot, but it's not 1.6 or 1.7 or 1.8 on your way up to 2. Which is, that's a radical difference in how your economy works and how logistics works and, commodities work, and real estate. Like, we're in crazy times right now with all this. So,
on addressing the general killing, the killing of generals over there,
Zhang Yusha is his name.
I'm starting to wonder if it's when their uniforms run out of space for all those medals they normally have pinned on them, do they get rid of them?
You are confused. That's North Korea.
Oh, that's right.
That's North Korea. I'll tell you what, if they ever get AI to the point that you can really do it, I want to do a complete episode. I want to get AI. We'll record an episode, and then I want to plug it in, and then AI will take our voices and change each one of us to a different North Korean newscaster reading the news. Have you ever seen North Korean news?
No,
it's always
I have
women. Dude, it's like I can't even describe how emotionally unstable this sounds, because they read it with such like they're just like they're almost crying, and then they're jubilant. It's the craziest news you've ever seen. Like, suppose like I'm a talking head, and this, today in North Korea, it's like it's this most affected, crazy thing you've ever seen.
Our glorious leader lost a pound today. Oh no.
And they're like they'll start crying and be like, we're so happy for the glorious leader. Like it's and this is the news every day. It's hilarious. Because again, North Korea is not a real place. It's not a real country. It's an organized crime family. So yeah.
Well,
all right.
We're going to talk a little about guns for a minute.
Yeah, sure. So you had sent me a message on Iowa. You said you saw something from Iowa?
Yeah. Of course, going back to our previous one on the SHOT Show, once again, it's the firearms blog that was doing actual gun journalism. But
you know what?
They had 3 things I saw.
Yeah. What they have?
Well, one of them was a super small thermal that can clip on for a helmet, but they also made it so you can clip on to the front of an L can. And it's by Andrews Industries, AG, which AG. I
German?
think over the no, I think it was Austrian, but I'm not sure on that.
Oh yeah.
The Tilo series, TILO series, little clip on. It was all great and everything until I saw the price of 6 to 9K. That's 6 to 9K euros.
So you're
I think that's over 10K at least.
Yeah, you're over 10 UK United or US dollars.
And of course, they didn't say if anyone was distributing in the US or not. Then there was the God, I didn't write down the whole name. Side loading bolt action, where they're taking a AR-15 mags or in horizontally like a Sten gun, but it would come in on the left side, and it was a bolt action. And
I saw a picture of it, but I didn't read it.
Yeah, they apparently they have an American distributor for that now. I didn't hear a price. It could be
interesting. Most of that stuff
I thought it was interesting.
Most of that stuff is made for like places like Australia and maybe the United Kingdom. Like, what was it? Australia. They banned a bunch of guns in Australia, and then they came out with lever action, like ARs and these lever action guns just for Australia that take AR magazines, and then they immediately banned them.
Right, exactly.
Because they were compliant, then they just changed the law. They were like, a lot of them came out of Turkey. So, yeah, that's interesting.
And the last item was the Zastava M20, which is a 7.62 NATO PKM, basically. The M84, basically, in 7.62 NATO.
I think that was shown wasn't that a SHOT Show?
I didn't think they showed that. They showed the M84, which is the 7.62 by 54R, the standard PKM.
Yeah, you're right. They didn't. Yeah, you're right.
And they said that was slated possibly for U.S. sales as a semi, but they were showing this as full auto only. But obviously, I guess it's Zastava trying to get into the NATO style market, I guess, with the PKM, which is a great machine gun. I mean, the PKM is good.
Oh, it's a fantastic machine gun.
They changed up, I think, the quick change barrel slightly, and they put some rails on it, but the quick change was still a little clunky as far as I was concerned. They could have updated that, but still another neat item. And I was hoping that eventually they'd send that over here as a semi at least. Not that I'd buy any semi-belt auto since,
Hey, FRT it. You never know. It might last. I think it was at Iwa. I guess one of these Turkish companies has decided to make a Vepr 12 clone. Have you seen that one?
No, that's the 12 gauge?
Or no? Yeah. Or no. I'm sorry. No, I'm mistaken. They decided to make, when I say Vepr 12, the 12 gauge shotgun.
Right.
So they did that.
And an AK platform 12 gauge, right?
Yeah, 12 gauge. I'm sorry. And we have one of those. I don't think I've ever shot it. And then apparently Azerbaijan is possibly going to export AK-12s, if I read that right, or at least AKs. I think they're going to do possibly an AK-12. Which was, because I don't think Azerbaijan's ever exported any guns. I didn't know they had the ability to make guns in Azerbaijan, but I thought that was interesting because they're pretty aligned with the Russians.
Wonder how good their quality control is, though.
Well, I don't know. We'll see.
I guess Brass Facts and Hop have been doing long-term PSA AK testing, and then there were some negatives they had come up with, so it kind of worries me on quality control there. I've been wanting one of those AK-105s or whatever, but I haven't ever gotten around to getting one.
From PSA?
Well, I was hoping to get one of the original kits than having it built out by one of the real quality builders of AKs, but Now those damn kits are more than they're damn expensive. Just put it that way.
Yeah, yeah. I just recently found out about an AK builder that's not that far from me. He's in Kentucky. Maybe he's in Berea? I'm trying to find. Let me see if I can. It's not readily available. I'm not going to make everybody wait while it's not. Where is he at? I can't find. I'll find him. But apparently he's a one-man shop, and he's apparently among a lot of these AK guys, on the internet. They really like this guy's work. Like, apparently he's really good. But he just kind of does it, And again, maybe these guys are not, for all I know, they're like a bunch of Anderson poverty pony people. You know what I mean? That like this, so they think this guy's stuff is good, and it may not be good. But I was like, oh, this is interesting. All these people keep saying this guy's really good at building AKs from kits, and he's just across the line. I mean, we could drive there. It's like, well, I don't know. Maybe I'll go buy a gun from him or something. So I thought that was interesting.
Well, they used to say that stooge over in Louisiana that had the TV show Red Jacket. They used to say some people would say he was good and he was shit.
Well, he was never good.
No, they let it crap out. From what I understand, I have never personally seen the stuff, but a lot of people have complained about the Red Jacket firearms that they received that were.
That's interesting. Yeah, the TV reputation versus the real reputation, could be two completely different things. That's pretty interesting. So
I'm one of those epitome of the AR owner or M16 owner that has a decked out gun, and then my AK, I want it completely stocked like it came from Russia. There's that.
Sure, why not?
Well, it's that meme. That meme that shows an AK guy has a decked out AK, where the AR guy always has one an AK that's bone stock.
Yeah, I mean, knit AK fine. Don't put anything on it. So
get your tactile shit off my AK.
Yeah. I was actually I was looking at what is it? There's a 5.56 AK over at Shooters. I mean, I don't need it. I've got enough 5.56 AKs, but this one is, I guess it's Russian. Is it Russian, or maybe I don't know what it is, but it's got all kinds of, it's got a red dot on it and a mount, obviously, because it's got a red dot on it. And it's got a shit ton of mags, like a shit ton of mags. It's not cheap, but it's not crazy expensive. And
at least you can get ammo for it now. I mean, that's one thing I like about 5.56 is I just buy the ammo in bulk. So, but it's like, well, do I really need this right now? I mean, I've got what's the Finnish gun, the Valmet gun. Yeah, I've got one of those, and I got a ton of mags for it too, and I haven't hardly shot it. The goal is to shoot more of that on video. That's why I've been buying red dots and stuff for guns. So yeah,
I need to get a BAR as well, a semi-auto BAR. That's called. Ever since you sent me that news that they're shutting them down, I've been like, oh, I got to get one.
I've got 10,000 rounds of 7.62 by 39 sitting in the garage, and I never shoot the damn guns that I have for it.
We should do something about that. Probably something like cleaning them.
Well, every time I bought a machine gun, I would spend like 10% on ammo at the same time. So, if I bought a $20,000 gun, I'd spend $2,000 on ammo for it at the same time. That way I had a good supply for everyone. And then at one point I bought a full auto AK, and I bought all that ammo, and I ended up selling the AK later on. But I still have a couple semi AKs, plus I have the conversion for my ZB26 over to 7.62 by 39, which I've never shot. And also my Japanese.
Don't bring that up. Don't bring it up right now.
The
No,
Japanese
no.
Type 99 also has a conversion for 7.62 by 39.
That's cool. Who made that? Who converted that?
That was they took ZB-26 barrels out of China that were already in 7.62 by 39, and they modified them to fit the Japanese Type 99 LMG.
I mean, was that like American enthusiasts that did that, or was there some country
that was American.
That did it?
No, that was American.
Okay.
And then you got to modify an AK mag to fit in the well, but it's the same modification that you have to do to stick it in the unaltered mag well of ZB-26. So I'm like, 2 for 1 there, right?
Yeah, that is of course a 2 for 1. That of course. Why buy one when you could have 2 for 3 times the price? I mean, that's called gun collecting.
Yeah, I've been thinking about selling my Japanese Type 99 on top of that. So I'm real terrible about selling stuff that I don't shoot. If I don't shoot it, I'm like, it's time to sell it. And I've regretted that several times.
Does it run with that conversion kit?
Oh yeah. Actually, it runs better than it does with the Japanese Type 99 ammo I have. I've got
How much Type 99 ammo do you have?
I don't have a whole lot. I had just 100 rounds, but it was, I think, from Graff and Sons. It was loaded ammo.
Yeah. Oh, fancy.
And the problem was I ran it in the gun, and even on the lowest gas setting, it was ripping the rims off the damn rounds. And once you rip a rim off the damn thing, you're pretty much screwed for reloading it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what I've heard.
So there was something to fool around there, and the day I was out there, I didn't have any tools or anything with me, and I had a bunch of other guns, and I had a bunch of friends with me, so I'm like, set it aside. But it ran just fine on the 7.62 by 39.
What would you estimate? You don't have to tell me if you're not comfortable, but what would you estimate a transferable Japanese Type 99 would go for in today's market? What would that gun what do you think it would go for?
Well, I can pretty much give you a good idea, given that in the auctions they usually run around 15,000 at most with buyer's premium and everything.
That's not bad. I mean,
no, it's one of the lower priced machine guns, but that doesn't usually come with any of the conversion kits. Now I got a conversion for 308 in my Jap 99. Then I got a conversion for 7.62 by 39. And then I've got a spare parts kit even for my gun.
I was going to ask about what breaks on a Japanese Type 99, and can you get parts for it?
I've never broken anything, and you cannot get parts unless you find, and what happened before I bought my gun, I tracked down one of the dealers in my area, a friend of mine, had a Japanese Type 99 parts kit that some lady was, her husband had died, and he had been in World War II and brought this thing back and threw it in the attic. And of course, he had never registered it during the amnesty in 68. So the only thing you can do with it is cut up the receiver or, turn it into ADF. So what we did was strip it of every part and cut the receiver up. And that allowed, and once I had a spare parts kit, then I said, all right, I'll buy a Japanese Type 99. And every time I buy a machine gun, I make sure I have a spare parts kit.
That's important.
Yeah, of course, my whole house is loaded with spare parts kits now, but
yeah, it's easy to do. I've got some parts kits that I need to get rid of because I was like, I'll build that one day, and I'm like, and
my problem is the parts kits start becoming so valuable.
Yeah, well, that's true.
I mean, I have a Swedish K and I have a Swedish K parts kit. Well, the Swedish K parts kit's now over $2,000. And I think I paid like $200 for it at the time, $300. So yeah, at the time it was like, that's nothing. It gives me a spare barrel.
A Swedish K is a nice gun to have. That's a nice gun to have to shoot.
It's one of my favorite sub guns. I mean, hell, I sold my MP5 because of it, because I shoot it and I wouldn't shoot the MP5.
Damn.
Of course, granted, I shot my MP5 a lot when I had it, but The MP5, when I go to a shoot, first of all, I like having unique guns, and their Swedish Ks aren't as common as MP5s. Everyone's got an MP5 at a machine gun shoot. So it's not something that, kind of appealed to me it's almost like swapping with other people. You're like, oh, I got this type of gun and you let me shoot your type of gun. So I got to shoot a lot of unique guns over my life because of that. So I kind of make that part of my collecting is shooting rare and unique guns.
The rumor is at the machine gun shoot, if you've got the gun that nobody else has, the bikini girls hang around you. That's what I heard. I've heard unique machine guns get chicks. That's what I've heard. I don't know if it's true. I've never owned a machine gun, but that's what I've heard.
If you have a rare, unique machine gun, you probably don't have a wife to start with because that's what you spend it all on the machine gun to start. So that may be part of it too. I don't know.
It could be, yeah.
But so I can tell you, I've never had another Stoner 63 at a machine gun shoot, or another Swedish BAR has ever shown up at a machine gun shoot I've been at.
A Swedish BAR.
Yeah, you didn't know that? My BAR is a Swedish it has a date stamped right on the top. It was made in 1927, so next year it's 100th birthday.
Wow. So it was made for Sweden, or did Sweden make them?
Sweden made them.
What?
They adopted the BAR in 1921. And so they started Colt made the initial, and I guess it's a little history lesson for everyone. FN was slated to sell BARs in Europe, and Colt was to sell everything to the U.S. and South America. Those were the territories. So Sweden, right after World War I, said, hey, we like this BAR because it's a new, unique concept. So they went to FN in Belgium and said, hey, we want a BAR in 6.5 Swede. And here's our list of needs. So FN said, had not geared up to make BARs yet. And of course, this is right after war and everything's gone to shit anyway. So what FN did was contacted Colt and said, well, we want to buy 500 Colts BARs with these things, and they're shipping to Sweden. And Sweden got them, loved them, and said, all right, we want to build them here. So they got a technical package, and they got the rights to build the BAR there. In 1921, they adopted.
Did they get the TDP as a deal through FN, or did you get it straight from Colt? Do you know?
I'm not exactly sure, but I'd be willing to bet that Colt supplied it at one point or another. Since they supplied all the guns, I'm sure they went ahead and supplied it to them. But who got the royalties and anything, I'm not sure. So Sweden made the BARs starting in 1921, and they kept using the gun up through the 80s. And
damn, I had no idea.
Yeah, they were obviously not in first-line service at that point. But 1937, they came up with a quick change barrel for the BAR. And that's my gun was updated somewhere after 1937 to a quick change barrel, and it's only one of two guns like it in the United States. So
damn, I've never heard of this.
It is very rare to see in the U.S. Now, the what they call the KG M21 is a little more common in the U.S., but the KG M37, which means model 37 of 1937, is, as far as I know, there's only two. So it's been my latest hobby is collecting crap for it. And believe me, the Swede made so much crap for this gun. It's amazing. I actually imported from Sweden a sled that is a machine gun mount. And it looks like a little, it looks like a little canoe. And I'll send you pictures to post with the podcast, but you put this thing is to be drug along behind you while you're on skis. You know, something I definitely needed in Texas, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, we've had the worst winter here that we've had in 40 years, and you holding out on the BAR sled that we could have been using here, like, come on, dude, I'll drive down there and pick you up and drive you back. Like, we'll load it all up in a Grenadier.
And, the BAR is in 6.5, so it's a really sweet shooting gun.
Oh, man. I love that caliber. 6.5 by 55?
Yep. Yeah, it's once again, when I bought the gun, I bought all the ammo he had, which is surplus Swedish ammo. And original.
Is it corrosive?
No. Sweden hasn't made corrosive ammo since near the turn of last century.
That's why I was like, because that's why I was asking. I was like, there's a chance it may not be.
That's why all their guns are always in such good condition, is because they were very early adopters of non-corrosive ammo, where everyone else still had corrosive ammo for so long. So when guns got put away with the corrosive ammo stuff, somebody, like, hell, I'm never going to see this damn thing again. And after the last shot, they're like, I'm going to go clean it.
Wow. But I had no
idea. My gun, it looks like it was put away with a diaper around it to protect it, because the bluing is so deep and rich on it. And Sweden has the most magnificent machining. And well, of course, this was made in 1927 when everyone actually cared about it, I guess then. But it's so beautiful. So it's one of my favorite guns. And as I say, I've been collecting all sorts of little crap for it, because they have gunner toolboxes. There's 2 of them. And then there's all these other accessories like brass catchers. And then there's a snowshoe for the bipod. So your bipod doesn't sink into the snow. It rests on top of the snow. And that same snowshoe for I've got all this stuff. Yeah. And this, dude, awesome. The same snowshoe is a action cover to keep the snow out of the action. So you take it off the action, you stick it on the bipod when you get ready to shoot.
Listen, I have a proposition. Why don't do you still have your cool photography set up, or do you have cool pictures of the Swedish BAR?
Oh yeah, I've got real high quality pictures of all this.
Well, have you posted them? Like, can we post them on the website?
Yeah. I post them all over the place.
Why? That's what I figured. Why don't we put? So I can have a separate post for just the Swedish BAR, and then I'll have another separate post where we can do, your accessories, and then if there's too many accessories, maybe we'll do like the pedestrian regular main, toolbox, whatever accessories. And then you can have a third post that has like the canoe and the snowshoe and whatever, all the weird stuff. And that could be its own post. And what do you think about that? Is that too much work?
No, not at all. In fact, the snow sled we can have a little contest on who can figure out what the hell this damn thing, one part is for. Because I've asked the Swedes and even the Swedish Museum, there's only a couple of these around. There's one in Finland. There's one in the Swedish Arms Museum. And then there's 2 in private hands in Sweden. And I've got the only one in the U.S. that I know of. And nobody knows what the hell this one bar on the sled is for. And I've asked everyone, and nobody can figure it out. Even the Swedes couldn't figure it out.
Have you asked maybe snowshoe people?
It's
like
not,
people that
it's not any snowshoe like. As I say, you'll see it. I'll point it out to you once I show you send you the pictures. But
well, how did you? Okay, so if no one knows what this is and no one's ever seen it, how did you find the snowshoe for the BAR for sale? Like, where did
it was on eBay? It was on eBay for $25. Oh, yeah. Luckily, I've also got original copies of all the parts manuals for the gun and the instructions in Swedish, of course. which, believe me, trying to teach yourself Swedish by not knowing or even hearing it is damn hard. Even using Google Translate's a real pain in the butt.
Huh. Yeah. So when you found it on eBay, did you just happen to look for it, or do you have an alert set up that lets you know when something hits the internet?
I do have an alert for Swedish BAR stuff on eBay. And believe it or not, this has actually come up on eBay a couple times. They occasionally, I've actually got 2 of the damn things, believe it or not. They've come up that many times on eBay that I've bought them.
So, okay. So, Mr. Hey, I need a parts kit. I need whatever. So now you're to the point you've admitted, this has almost become an intervention. You've admitted, yo, I got the snowshoe, but if I'm going to use it, I got to have a backup. So you bought a second one. And you live in Texas.
Yes. Where this is one of my most ridiculous collecting things. Most people in the world don't even realize, of course, that the Swedes adopted the BAR, much less that there's some in the U.S. And then there's still crazies like me that shoot them. And you want to really hear something that'll make you cry? All that ammo. I bought 10,000 rounds of Swedish surplus ammo in the battle packs from the guy that owned this gun, because you used to be able to buy it, and it's now getting real close to being completely dried up. All this ammo is Swedish sniper ammo. So I've been running Swedish sniper ammo through a BAR.
How much? I'm going to stay calm. How much Swedish sniper ammo do you think you have left?
I've got like 7,500 rounds or more.
You can say no. You can say no.
Would you like a box? Is that what you're trying to say?
Well, I do. I mean, I think I'm the only person in this conversation that owns a Swedish sniper rifle. So,
Henry of 9-Hole Reviews. He is. I don't know if you know,
but he
lives in Houston in the same area I do.
Yeah.
He's a little north of Houston. I'm a little in a different direction, but we're not too far apart. And I've told him he's a Swedish fanatic as well. And so I keep telling him, I say, hey, I'll give you a box of and when I say box, I mean 20 rounds of the Swedish ammo for testing your one of your Swedish guns, especially the Swedish sniper. That you won't believe this. On top of that, on Gunbroker one time, somebody decided to sell. They randomly got a battle pack with Swedish Tracer 6.5 in it, and I bought that one box on eBay from him. And I said, man, do you have any more? Because I'm looking for some. And he goes, yeah, I got a whole battle pack of it. And I said, I'll buy it all. I've got a whole battle pack of Swedish Tracer, too, for the gun.
Huh. Wow. I don't know if I'd put that in my sniper, but that's cool, though.
Oh, I also have wooden blanks for it as well. And I've got the blank shredder.
A whole bunch of that came in the country, and I wanted to buy some. I don't know if it's still out there, but it was cheap as hell.
It's wooden blanks. You can you can yank the bullets out with a pair of pliers, dump the powder. You can't use the powder with a real bullet, but you can reload it with a powder that's good for the caliber and use a bullet in it. So, of course, you can only use, unless you decide you want to load Burdan prime brass.
No.
Basically, you're salvaging a primer in the case if you do it that way. And the ammo used to be so cheap you could do that. But, thank God I bought all that ammo when I did. So it kept me from having to worry about where do I get Swedish 6.5 for a machine gun.
Well, there used to be. That's what made a lot of these heavier, machine guns appealing. Is there was so much surplus ammo around you could buy that you could buy the gun and then you could buy a shit ton of ammo and go out and just blast it. And like, it wasn't that much money.
Oh yeah. I've got 27 cases of 8mm Romanian ammo in the garage. You should have seen the UPS the day that showed up.
Oh, I bet they were loving you.
Oh, they sent 2 guys out on the truck that day, and I had the best UPS guy ever on that. He and the other guy, they unloaded all that stuff and actually stacked it in the garage where I wanted it.
Wow. Oh, well, so was it in actual individual? They didn't like do like a lift gate and a pallet or something. They just actually did it.
No, I bought it
one case at a time.
I bought AIM surplus out of 6.5 Romanian. I'm sorry, not 6.5. 8mm Romanian ammo after I bought my ZB-26.
Mm-hmm.
See, the ZB-26 was designed for light 8mm ball ammo. Well, nobody used light 8mm ball ammo except the Romanians. And what's a perfect granted, it's corrosive, but it's a perfect ammo for the ZB-26, and the ZB-26 loves that 8mm. And so I said, oh, I'll just buy enough. I'll never have to worry about ever having to buy more. And so I bought all that. Plus, I wanted to buy an MG42 at some point later on, but yeah, that's another dream that I never achieved. So I had 27 cases in the garage, and I actually sold off 10 cases to a guy that had an MG42 for, I think I paid, I sold it for, I think $500 a case. And I originally paid less than $100 a case, like $80 a case.
Oh, wow. You did real good.
Yeah. But, it still leaves me, with 17 cases out there. So
yeah,
it's all in spam cans.
But for, machine guns, it's not as much as you think. I mean, it's enough, but it's not like, it's really not.
Magazine-fed machine guns tend to at least limit your use.
That's true. Yeah. Well, okay. So, yeah, like a ZB-26, it's a lot. For an MG-42, that is not a lot.
No. MG-42 would have chewed through that. Like, in fact, he wanted to buy more off me, and I wouldn't sell it to him. But he was pretty local, and he came over with a trailer and everything and picked it up.
Yeah, I saw recently the 9 Holes review guy, Henry Chan, is that his name? Henry?
Yeah, Henry, yeah.
He just did a video on the Blaser rifles, and he was shooting them, and I guess he was real happy with it. And I guess he only has one magazine, 308 is his caliber. And I was talking to a guy in Australia, and I finally have sourced some Australian Defence 338 magazines that they make. They're called X-Tech. And I specifically asked the guy, I'm like, do you have any 308 mags by chance? Because, like, I know a vet here in the United States that is hurting for some 308s. And the guy was like, no, I don't. He says, I'd sell them to you if I had them. Because I literally was thinking about that Henry guy. I don't know it. He apparently has seen our content because of the Blaser stuff. Like, I made a comment on his video about his Blaser rifle, and he's like, he acknowledged John 1911, I guess because he was researching the gun. But I don't know anybody on YouTube. I don't know anybody. So I was like, if I could source him some mags, I literally was going to try to send him a message and be like, dude, here's some mags, keep that Blaser honor up for me. here's some 308 mags. So
see, you posted that picture of all your Blaser barrels. You've got the same problem I do. You own unique guns that you have to sink a lot of money into, and you do it for crazy reasons.
Hey, it takes one to know one. Like,
exactly.
I mean,
you see, you're just one step away from going over the deep end and buying a machine gun like that.
I want a machine gun so bad, and I just haven't. I mean, dude, I've got an armory. I've got my own range. I mean, it's like, yeah, obviously I have a problem. So, my joke is, it's like, look, it's like my midlife crisis. It's like, well, most people midlife crisis, they get rid of their wife, they buy a Corvette, and they go to the strip club. And I'm like, well, I'll just build a gun range and have an armory and just, do what I want to do that way. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm not sitting there claiming that I'm as virtuous as the wind driven snow. I mean, I'm a degenerate gun collector. I mean, I mean, when they talk about those super collector or these evil people with all these guns, I'm like, yep. We're like, oh my God, we found a guy with 1,000 rounds of ammo in his car, and I'm like, oh, is that not a lot?
Yeah, I pretty much laugh at those guys. I'm like, well, I've got 100,000 rounds, and I get worried when I get below that number.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I know a guy with 100,000 rounds in his garage. So I've never gotten to that level because I usually go through it. So, but
by the way, all that ammo ruined that UPS truck. It was squatting so low when they drove up. They unloaded it all, and the springs had all inverted in the rear.
Oh no!
Yeah, it was a lowrider in the back when they left, even without the ammo in it.
Well, it probably needed spring work anyway. So, well, we've been going for about 2 hours, and I think that should be about the limit on the podcast. Is there anything else you want to cover?
Well, not that I can think of.
Okay, well,
I can ramble forever on guns, but
Well, my goal is to try to do more frequent episodes. So, well, this wraps up episode 397 of the John 1911 podcast. You want to see the stories or pictures or links of Mongo's crazy rare guns? Go to the website at john1911.com. That's JOHN1911.com. Remember, it's all about shooting guns and having fun. Everybody, have a good day. Say bye, Mongo.
Bye, Mongo.